my 6. Why? Because whether you're aware of it or not, they're always watching. Who or what? Well, that's the topic of today's video. Welcome back to Homesteading Off the Grid, the most popular homesteading channel on the entire internet that has absolutely nothing to do with homesteading. Sorry for the jiggle, jiggle, wiggle, wiggle of the camera there. I forgot to bring my chair up into the forest with me today, so I'm just sitting here with my back against a tree. Got a couple things I'm going to read for you today. One is a submission from one of our regular submitters for the True Hauntings upcoming Volume 4, which I hope to have out in time to read many parts of to you this October when we come up here and enjoy our October nights. I'll go back and redo some of the stories from October Nights Part 1, Part 2. There's some Halloween-themed stories in many of the Bigfoot Sasquatch Files series. And if you have a story that you would like to be published in an upcoming True Hauntings series, send it in. The email address is crazylake@mail.com. Yeah, we're back to that. We finished up a lot. I had to get away from YouTube for a while this year, about 6 months, really being very inconsistent here, and step away from the writing because I kind of had to build things up over on our Facebook page, Sick Twisted Humor, because this platform decided to minimize my views when I refused to become an e-bagger and tell you to send me all these super chats. So they stopped featuring my videos. That's okay. They're not the only social media platform on the planet. Let me tell you, well, I've got big news coming up for those of you who have been following this current busing saga we're experiencing here in our small part of the world, which a lot of folks are experiencing everywhere. A lot of folks believe that they must play by the rules and go with the ebb and the flow of the system. The system they're in, that they're in by choice. It's all about choice. The fact of the matter is, no, you don't. You always have a choice. And one of my favorite books, and it's been years since I've read it, I should read it again. Many of you have read it. It's called Tuesdays with Maury by Rich Albaum. I think his name is Albaum. Maury, as you know, is a college professor. He's dying of cancer, I believe. He was sick, and one of his former students would go spend Tuesdays with him. Telling you, you gotta get my 6, which means if you're new to the channel, watch behind me. You never know who or what you may or may not see in the background of some of these videos. Getting to it. But the most profound statement Maury makes in that book is, when he's giving advice to this younger man, it's about culture. And he says, go along with the culture, kind of like go along to get along. But if there's parts of the culture that go against your principles or that you simply don't agree with, reject those parts of the culture. And I do that, and the system has changed in such a way that it's affected my family and 999 others. So don't want to give it away just yet. I will be soon. I'm rejecting that part of the system and making different choices. And we all have that freedom. I've heard a lot of people, so many people will come up with excuses as to why they're not where they want to be in life and why this didn't work out for them. And they're always blaming the system. I've heard people make the comment, well, you know, that's the system we're in. Well, get out of it. Get out of it. And my point of this is when YouTube said, hey, you're going to go from getting 20 million views a month to maybe 500,000 unless you e-bag. I said, okay, fine, brah. Let me go get on this other platform and get my $20 million or 20 million views a month there. And that's exactly what we've done. So that's why I've been away from this platform. But now that that is pretty much cemented in solidity over there, I'm going to come back here, especially this fall and especially for those October nights. So I want to read an email first that I got recently. And let me see, I got to get my old man glasses. If you've been watching this channel for years, you've been watching me age. I used to be able to come out here and read the contents label on the back of a soda pop can. Now I can't read large print unless I'm wearing my old man glasses. I turned 50 in 3 months. 3 months away, I'm going to be 50. Okay. This is an email from Wilf Diskin, one of our viewers from across the pond, that being the Atlantic Ocean over in England. Dear Kevin, I hope you, Dearly, and Daniel are well. You probably won't remember me. Actually, I remember you very much, Wilf. But I sent you an email last year when you were looking for paranormal stories and reading them out on your channel. My story is the second one featured in this video. Then he put the link to the video. He says, I'd just like to let you know, as you were very complimentary about my writing, that my mother and I have started up a new blog where we have decided to retrospectively chronicle our entire years inside that village and the many strange, eerie, and bizarre nuances it contained. Wilf had turned in a story about a time when he and his mother lived in a haunted village, and a lot of really creepy stuff went on in that story. So that's what he's talking about here. The names of the actual places and people are all disguised, but if you or any of your listeners are interested in the entire story, here it is, blow by blow, and it's all 100% accurate and true. You have our word on this. And then, of course, he gives me the link to the introductory page of his blog. I went there and read it. Wilf, you're an excellent writer. Excellent writer. I'm glad that you decided to pursue writing because you're too good at it not to. He says again, if you'd mention my blog in one of your next videos and link it, we would, of course, be very grateful. Keep up the great work, Kevin, and stay sane in this increasingly mad world. No kidding. Best wishes, MILF. So, if you'll go down into the description box of this video, I do have the link for Wilf's blog in there. And in the intro article in the blog, it also, he has embedded the YouTube video from this channel that he mentions there, so you can watch that video from his blog and get that story. It was a really neat story. Wait till you hear this, how this guy writes, and when you read it, very fluid prose. He's a great writer. So I'm glad to see that he's pursuing that. You, Wilf, if you're watching, I'm glad to see you are pursuing that. So I've been receiving some emails at the crazylake.mail, crazylake@mail.com email address for stories for this upcoming True Hauntings edition. And we have a lady named Nina Petrie, shout out, who lives in West by God, Virginia, who is a regular contributor. And she had submitted a story back in July that I hadn't read. It's just been piling up. But this morning at the crack of dawn, I was working on editing some of these submissions and putting them together, trying to get this thing out before October. And I read one that was so ironic, the subject matter, because I spoke of this just last week when I came out, and I talked about going up to some friends and neighbors' house and grilling out and hearing some of their paranormal stories, some of their true events that have happened to them. And I mentioned about how just on this hill back here, because they live back behind me, and so back here on this hill would be the same spot for both them and for me. There's a place where one of their adult children, he's in his early 20s, feels like every time when he goes up there and he comes home and he gets out of his car, like he's being watched, whether it's broad daylight in the middle of summer, whether it's dark, whether it's that creepy time of year, October-ish, Halloween. He just always feels like there's an entity up there watching him. I made a video up there years ago, and I think it's titled something like, "This is the weirdest, strangest video you'll ever see on the internet," or something. Something happened there. It's like the camera glitched, and there's like half a second where it looks like I'm laying on my stomach on top of a rock that is like literally 50 yards behind me, and then I'm back, and it's when these things used to zap me and like give me headaches or something. They haven't done that in years. I don't know if it's because they've accepted my presence in theirs, or maybe because I just haven't gone out there looking, poking and prodding as much as I used to. Because you remember the video, was it October 2019? My gosh, it's been almost 4 years ago now. The one titled, "He Discovers the Lair of Bigfoot Sasquatch and It's Made Loud and Clear He Is Not Welcome." Remember, we caught 2 somethings in that video. It was shortly after that I just stopped looking because I was afraid of how close I was getting to some of the things I was trying to find. But interestingly, areas where you always feel like you're being watched, and that is the subject of Nina's story, and I'm going to read it to you now. And it's not a long one. It's about a page long. Starts at the end here. It's called Unseen Watchers, and then it ends over here. So, "Hi, Kevin. You have my permission to use this any way you would like. If you do submit a story, you've got to give me your permission to use it, okay? I love watching your videos on YouTube, so please keep putting content there as well as the other places you do. Personally, I don't do social media, as in content creation. I guess you'd have to label me as a watcher only. What I want to tell you about and ask about your experience as well is the other watchers, those ones you don't always, maybe never see, but you feel them watching, always watching, putting that creepy chill down your back that someone or something is near you that maybe shouldn't be. You can't tell if they are friend or foe, but you can tell they are not all the same type of watcher, such as referring to other of my submissions. And then she talks about some stories she submitted in the past where she talked about similar things. All I know for sure is that various entities or forces hang out on the hill behind the house I live in. No human ever goes up there. It is really steep, rocky, overgrown woods with lots of copperheads scattered throughout. Nice to look at, but not a pleasant trek location. Lately, I can feel them watching as never before. I also can feel someone or something physically pushing into my physical space, even when I am in the house, as it has gone beyond being satisfied to observe just when I am outside. So it's like something's come in with her. Something probing relentlessly and not wanting to be deterred. It is a tangible feeling. I know it is not my imagination, as it is too real for that. I keep myself in a safe white light bubble encased in a hard hematite shell that repels any real intrusion into my mental space. Yet the watchers let me know they are there. It's definitely not the same feeling as what the white light angels, the ones who have not fallen, give off. That is such an electrical charge. I know to a great many people this all sounds crazy. Those people likely think I am crazy or have an imagination that is in hyper overdrive. I assure you that I am as sane or saner than they are, or at least as sane as I choose to be. I'm aware and awake, definitely not woke. Huh. Thank you, Nina. In watching your videos, Kevin, I sense that you sense that he, she, it, or they, as you say, get my 6, are real. They are not something you have created for dramatic flair for video content for something in the woods. I have seen menacing shadows, please be careful, regular shadows that have nothing to do with the sun shining through the trees, entities in and behind the trees, heard people talking and walking with dogs in the woods just to disappear in a few frames. All of this going on behind you while you were making some of your videos. That's what I was talking about at the beginning of the video. That's why I set up on the side, so you can get my 6 and watch back here. I mean, we've had some of these things walk right up to me and vanish, and people have pointed it out. Well, I had my head down reading a story like this. I don't see it. And I go back and watch the video, and I'm like, OMG. WTF, SOB, ETC. I believe that this is all real. I also believe that other people can and do see those things happening as well, and that likely everyone could if they open their minds. I also know a lot of people do not talk about woo-woo things as it leads to a label they do not want to wear. Crazy. Whatever, just own it. I have your 6. However, it feels to me that something big is about to happen. What? I don't know. And the watchers are there to either just observe what goes down for kicks and giggles, or are there as a way of saying, hey guys, get ready, it's coming. God bless you and yours. Be safe. Over and out. Nina, thank you for this submission. Sorry it's taken so long to get around to it. Again, like I said at the beginning of the video, I had to kind of rebuild myself over on another social media platform. Because, remember, we're all part of some sort of system. We all do have to go along to get along to some degree. But once our principles are compromised, or we become uncomfortable and things are not working out in our favor anymore, we can make the choice to change and entirely leave a system. None of us are victims. We can choose to be a victim, and if we do, we will live the life of a victim. However, we can also choose to be victors, and we will live the life of winners, which is a life so unimaginably beautiful, full of joy. It's not worth doing it the other way. So thanks for being here with me today. See y'all for more next time.